Good morning and welcome to Maya's Saturday version of Focus 8 to 10 headlines. I see we've already got some students joining us. Welcome Tiziana from Mestre. Welcome Emma from Rome. My name is Terry. I'm from the United States. And I'm co-teaching today with Joelle. Would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Joelle. I'm from London, from the UK, and I live in Florence. I teach in the Baracca School of Florence, and I live near Florence. Um, and in my free time, I love to dance. I'm a dancer.
What kind of dance do you like to do, Joelle?
I love salsa. I'm a salsa dancer.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
so I see we've got some others who've just joined us. Please, as you join us, use the chat to tell us your name and where you're joining us from. So welcome to Saturday morning with Joelle and Terry.
Yeah.
Um,
Where are you from in the US?
I'm from Seattle, which is in the very northwest corner, almost to Canada.
Hmm. I've
And
heard beautiful things about that area. It's very picturesque.
it's very lovely. There's the sea, there's mountains, there's big cities, there's rural towns. I guess the thing I would say is that for me it was difficult because it rains about 9 months out of the year. So when the skies are blue, it's incredible. But 9 months out of the year, it's gray and kind of
But
depressing.
I, yeah, like London, a bit like London.
A bit like London.
Yeah, but I imagine the
Rosaria,
fishing is good.
Rosaria from Rome, welcome. Sorry, go ahead.
I imagine the fishing is good.
The fishing is great, salmon and also crab and clams and mussels and
Wow.
seafood is amazing. So we also have Manuela from Venice. Welcome. So
Hi,
today
everybody.
we're talking about headlines. So um, normally I would begin with Cinzia from Bologna. Welcome. Normally I would begin by asking you what's in the news at the moment, but wow, it's Saturday and I just don't want to be that depressed yet. So, so tell us what's in the news at the moment. And I know we're going to talk about the virus today because we can't help it. That is a headline. It's the major headline. But what are some other headlines? What are some other things that you've seen in the news at the moment? Does anything come to mind, Joelle?
Yeah, okay. So, students, if you think of anything, please write it in the chat. Hello for the students who have just joined us. Yeah, I have a funny um, piece of news that is related, I suppose, to the virus about all the people rushing to the supermarket to buy toilet paper. So, especially in the United States, not so much here in Italy, but in the United States and in the UK, people are hogging all the toilet roll. So that's quite funny. I think
And
I don't understand the logic because one of the symptoms of this virus is not like explosive
it is,
diarrhea.
but it is. I actually, what's really interesting is that sometimes this virus actually begins with stomach upset before the cough and everything comes on.
I didn't know. They have never said that on the news.
They haven't said it on the news, but if you read the World Health Organization or the Ministry of Health from the UK or the CDC, which is like the Ministry of Health for the United States, they're discovering new things as we go along, and often people forget about these symptoms when they realize they have the virus and it's bronchial. But yeah, it's really
Maybe
interesting that
maybe it's mutated. Maybe it's mutated. That's why. Because that wasn't one of the symptoms.
yeah. So the mutation, perhaps. But I was talking to one of my sons yesterday who lives in Idaho, which is right next to Washington State, and He said, Mom, you just would not believe the people, what they're doing. You go to the grocery store and people are literally like pushing and fighting
Fight.
each other to get cans of soup or and it's not I said, it's just another thing that makes me even more certain I made the right decision to be here. I was in line at the grocery store the other day and people kept a social distance. People were still very civil, very helpful.
Yeah,
It's a different
absolutely.
mindset. What's
Yeah.
it like in London?
In London, yeah, I don't know if people are fighting, but they're definitely panic buying. They're panic buying. So they are just buying everything that um, is like long lasting. So cans of food, cereal, packet, anything that's packaged, toilet paper as well. And yeah, like old people, they go shopping and they can't find anything because everything's already been bought. So yeah.
Mhm.
Or another
And,
one that I saw about the US, which I don't understand as well, is why everybody is now panic buying guns. I saw that as well.
yeah.
What's
Well,
that all?
I love my country. I served my country in the military, including a year in Iraq. I truly love my country. I owned guns when I was in America, but there's a difference between a responsible gun owner, someone that has it for self-defense, or someone that has it for hunting, and these people who are preparing for the next Armageddon.
Yeah, yeah.
And unfortunately, there is this mindset of, well, if it all, pardon my language, if it all goes to hell, I'm prepared and I will kill to get my family what they need. Rather than
Yeah.
this this working together and this constant civility that I see here in Italy. In
Mm.
fact, I've never been more happy to not be there.
Yeah. So I suppose in America it's like each to their own in this
It is.
case.
It will become very dog eat dog if things get further. So, where do you get your news, Joelle? And all of you out there with us today, tell us, what headlines have you read lately, and where do you get your news?
I try, or no, I not, not I try. I always get my news from reliable sources.
Uh,
So I always read um, news articles, usually on my phone or on the internet, like yeah, on the internet, but from reliable sources like La Repubblica or La Stampa or BBC News or something that is like a proper news um, source. Or I watch the news, Sky, TG24, or TG1 or TG2, which is the equivalent of BBC One, BBC Two News, or the CNN. Like it's the equivalent. So I don't read like just stuff that pops up on Facebook, a post that somebody randomly
oh,
wrote. What about you?
well, so I just wrote three of my favorite news sources because they are reliable. Exactly. Reliable sources are the most important right now because there are a lot of people who are trying to create panic. We're trying to spread conspiracy theories. We're trying to lay blame to create animosity. But my favorite sites, and I've been using these since I was in Iraq, are the BBC, NPR, which stands for National Public Radio in America, and Al Jazeera.
I love Al Jazeera.
I love Al Jazeera in English because when I was in Iraq, sometimes I would read the news, CNN even, and I love CNN, but sometimes I would read things and they didn't have all of the facts of what really happened. But Al Jazeera could tell me exactly what it was I saw the day before.
Yeah, so Al Jazeera is really, really neutral. This is what they try to be. They're a completely neutral news. What do you call it? News source, news agency.
News
News
source or news outlet, exactly.
outlet. There you go. They're completely
Tiziana
neutral.
gets her news from CNN or ANSA. What is ANSA?
I also read it from AMS as well. It's like it's an official agency or something for the news. I don't remember the what they stand for, but it's something. I think it's Italian. So I also read news that comes from AMSA.
Right. Manuela says, try to listen to the news from different countries. So, Manuela, do you try? Remember that in English, the structure requires that pronoun or that noun. So, in Italian, we can say provo, prova, and so this tells us who. But in English, we have to have the pronoun because this I don't
Yeah,
know if you are telling me to try or if you are telling me that you try, okay?
yeah. So if it's
And
you, Manuela, you have to say, I try to listen to the news from different countries. If you just say, try to listen to the news from different countries, it sounds like you're giving us advice.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
So we know the situation is really bad in Veneto, and unfortunately, Manuela, we're seeing the situation get worse in all parts of the country right now and in all parts of the world. So we just have to stay strong and stay positive, right?
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
that's our goal right now. But oops, sorry, too fast. Joelle, would you mind reading this for us?
Of course. Yeah. Just Manuela said, just confirmed what I said. The toilet paper is not a problem here, but people are buying huge quantities of goods. It's true.
But
It's true.
another reason why toilet paper it shouldn't be a huge problem here. We have bidets.
Yeah.
In the United States, they don't know what a bidet is.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
Right. So in today's focus activity, headlines. In this focus activity, using present perfect for recent news, discussing gossip and headlines, and inventing headlines. Hi, Antonio. Thanks for joining us.
all right. So this is something, and I want to talk about this before we go into this lesson, Joelle. So there is a huge difference with the present perfect between American English and British English.
Hmm.
So the rules for past simple are the action is finished and the time is finished. And so even if something has just finished, in American English, we would use the past simple. For example, I just bought this sweater. Whereas
Yeah.
in British English, because it's just in the past and it's so recent, it's so almost connected to the future, you would use the present perfect for I have just bought. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So we always use the present perfect to talk about something that happened in the past, but without a specific time. But we can use the past simple, or we understand it, and it doesn't sound wrong to hear the past simple when you're talking about a recent event because we've heard it so much in American TV, American films. British people grow up watching American sitcoms and American films. So for us to hear the American way of speaking is perfectly normal for us. But Americans, I mean, especially in the past, maybe not so much now, there are more British films and American people are starting to watch British films. But before, there were no British TV shows in America or British films. So they don't. A lot of American people don't know British terms or the British way of speaking. So, but there is that difference. There is that difference. Okay.
I'm just making a note
Thank you,
to
Antonio.
emphasize this point.
Antonio says headlines is a very interesting topic. I think. Great. Yeah, it is. It is. Especially
We hope
when.
so. And Antonio from Rome, welcome. And don't ever worry about being late. Jump in whenever you can.
Mhm.
Oh, sweater. I changed from coat to sweater. Sorry for the confusion. My mind is. So I just bought this coat, American English past simple. I have just bought this, imagine it says coat, British
Well,
English,
it's still
present
considered.
perfect.
Doesn't
Okay?
matter. Yeah. Perfect.
All right. So we were talking about headlines before. And so, first of all, look at these headlines and over in the chat, tell us which of these are present simple and which are past participles. So we really rely on your participation as we go forward. It's really boring if it's just Joelle and I sitting here talking. So, and it gives us a chance to help you if you can participate with us. So tell us which of these are past participles and which are present simple. So,
okay. Another thing I'd like to point out to the students is to remember that when newspapers write their headlines, you will notice that they often remove certain words. Which words do they remove from the headlines? So if you read these headlines here, I'll read them out. Thousands killed by bridge collapsing. Obama signs new treaty. UN hostages crossing into Jordan. Researchers grow teeth from cells. And man arrested over death of his wife. So there are some words that are missing that usually if we are speaking, not writing, but we're speaking, we always use. What are they? If anybody knows the answer, please write it down.
All right. And we'll be doing more exercises like this as we go along. So if you see the present simple, you might think that the verb to be, Tiziana. So you might think of the actual tense that we would use if we were speaking about this. And in headlines, they do eliminate certain words in order to make it fit the space on the paper. So
So Emma says she doesn't understand. So what I want, what's her name? Sorry. Tiziana said the verb to be. Very often, yes, we can omit the verb to be, but I was thinking more along the lines of the articles. The articles. So, oh, Emma Caruso says she doesn't understand what she has to do. Okay, so just tell us which of these phrases use the present simple tense or use the present perfect tense, because with the present perfect, we use the past participle of the verb. So, thousands were killed by collapsing bridge. Killed, is that a past participle or is it a present simple? Okay.
Okay. So this is the past participle killed. Thousands were killed. Okay. So you can do one of two different things right now. Tell us, use the verb that you see, for example, killed and past participle. I know that it seems that killed in this tense is the past simple, and killed, it is a regular verb, so the past simple and the past participle are the same. But if you wanted to write this headline in its complete structural form, thousands were killed, so it becomes the past participle.
Yeah,
okay, so Emma.
Yeah, it's also the passive form.
But signs, not sings, Emma, but very good.
Yeah, signs. That's present simple. Past simple in the passive form, Tiziana, fantastic.
All right. Ooh, how about UN hostages crossing into Jordan?
Ooh. So crossing is again using the gerund form, okay, or the present participle. They are both with ing, and this is, it's still the present form because we're not using the present simple, but we're using the present continuous. So it's happening now. It's still the present form. They are crossing into
They
drug.
are crossing, exactly.
Antonio makes a point here. From my point of view, the headline, you should write with the, yeah, instead of could, should be attractive or captivating. So people would be interested in reading the entire article. Yes, that's a very good point. Just be careful with your tenses and the modal verb instead of could, but maybe should be attractive. So people would be interested in reading the entire article. Yeah, the headline does everything basically. If you see the headline and it's interesting, it makes you want to read the rest of the article. Okay. Grow. Yeah. Should be attractive, or maybe should be maybe captivating.
Or interesting.
Interesting, yeah. So people will be interested in reading.
Okay.
Researchers grow teeth themselves. Grow. This is
What tense is grow?
yeah. And man arrested over death of his wife.
Okay.
So I think grow is present tense. So what is the past tense of grow? Is it regular or irregular?
Oh, it's definitely irregular.
Yeah. So the past participle would be grown. Yeah. And arrested, past participle. And this is regular, so it's the same as the past simple.
So now, tell us, just as we did here, write again, rewrite the headlines in a complete sentence form. Choose any headline that you want and write it again, but in a complete sentence form. Okay? You have an example right here on the screen.
Okay. And remember that very often when they have written our article, the article headline, they have removed the articles, the grammar articles from the sentences. So the articles are the, a, or an. Okay. So
do you say a or a?
It depends if it depends how I pronounce it. If I'm saying a word with an R with
Okay, for example, car.
It depends. It depends. It depends. If I want to emphasize something and I'm trying to make you understand, I will say a. If I'm trying to emphasize something. If I'm just speaking normally, I will say a. So, you know, I saw a cat crossing the road. But if you say, what did you see? A cat. And I'll emphasize it to you.
I often get asked that question in class. Is it a or a? Well, it depends where you come from. It depends on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, Emma, excellent, but one thing you need to change. Obama, exactly, Joelle, Obama, third person. So how do we change? Emma has already corrected herself. Excellent, way to go, Emma. Tiziana, a man has been arrested over the death of his wife. Perfect, absolutely perfect.
Great.
And thousands were killed. Excellent, Manuela. Good, okay. So we understand how this works. Fabulous. Now, for a little bit of fun, okay? I'm going to give me 1 second because technology is not my friend. We're going to look at a site that generates random headlines. I want to warn you before that the headlines do not make sense. They are truly random. It is a subject, a verb, and an object, okay? We want you to write down your favorites and then write what the headline would look like if it were in a complete sentence form. Okay, so give me just a
Yeah.
second
While you're doing that, I'm
to.
going to just show this example that Emma wrote. It's correct. The hostages are crossing into Jordan. Okay, so here there is no article because with countries we never use the, except when we're talking about countries that are made up of more, like a few different countries or states, like the United States, the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom has 4 countries. Or if we're talking about a country that has a title, like the Republic of Congo or something like this, the Republic of China. Otherwise, other countries never have the. It's just Italy. It's just Spain. It's just France. Okay? But good use of the present continuous form, Emma, please.
Tiziana, no coffee, no party.
Ooh. Great. That's a great headline.
All right, so looking at this random headline generator,
Oh, look, Antonia's just invented one.
the little pig Dior walking down the street.
Walking to the town center, making your moral high sky high. So you need to insert.
All right.
Maybe he wants to say morale with an E. Your
I
morale.
think so. All right, Antonio, thank you. So let's look at, I'm just going to refresh, and so the headline will change. Right now, Joelle, what's the headline?
Okay. Giant elf lifts giant. Ooh, I like that.
All right, so I'm just going to refresh a couple of times. Tell us your favorite favorite headline, and what would it be if it was a complete sentence? Okay, so
You want me to read it?
please,
Okay. Scary rat teases sheep.
what does it mean to tease? What is teases?
To tease means to ridicule. To ridicule. So, na 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 na. Like making fun of or taking the mick out of somebody. You're teasing them.
I got some ice cream and you don't got none. Okay. All right, another one.
Remember, students, to write these down. Write down these headlines, and then after we're going to ask you which one is your favorite. Okay? Furious sculptor saves saxophone. Ooh. Good one.
Okay, so write your favorite funny headline in complete sentence form. Okay? To tease means pulling your leg, Antonio. Excellent. I'm just pulling your leg. Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
All right, so another one.
Skinny mouse leaps over walrus. Ooh,
What is a walrus?
Yeah. Do you have walruses near Seattle?
No, we have a lot of sea lions, but walruses, no.
Yeah.
We have seals, sea lions. We have seals in the Pacific Northwest that as you get down to Oregon and California, you start getting some sea lions. But walruses, we don't have them.
So they are
Skinny
big.
mouse leaps over walrus. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. So a walrus is a huge marine animal. It's a mammal. So it lives on the land, breathes air, but it often it swims very well. It can't walk very well, but it swims very well. They're very big and they eat fish. And I don't know, I'm trying to think about a famous one that we can. Um,
A famous walrus.
like, for example, it's similar to what polar bears eat. Polar bears eat a lot of seals, and the walrus is a very big seal.
It's like a big seal with whiskers and tusks.
Whiskers and tusks. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so let's just look at two more headlines because I'm still waiting for all of you out there to write your favorites. So,
Pretty rooster bothers magic lamp.
now to bother.
Hmm.
What does that mean?
To bother is a synonym of to annoy. So it's like to be fastidious, to interrupt and to interrupt someone and annoy them, like it's fastidious. Stop bothering me! Don't bother me! Like don't annoy me! Don't get on my
Excellent. Emma has written, a skinny mouse has leap, but then she corrected herself. She said leaped. A skinny mouse has leaped over a walrus. That is exactly right, Emma.
Very good.
All right.
What do you? I think that this may be a different form in American English and British English. I think leap may be a regular verb for you, but it's an irregular verb for me.
I have only ever heard it as leapt.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Leapt.
In fact, because I actually just did a Google search while we were talking, and it does say
Both, maybe.
no, it says past tense and past participle forms of the verb. No, okay. Garner's modern American usage traditionalists prefer leapt, but the current grammar says it's leaped.
Yeah, there you go. So that's like I said, American English. Very often, irregular verbs that were originally irregular, so from the British English, the original British English, has transformed over time in America to become also regular. So I think this is one of those cases.
I think so. So Antonio, thanks for sharing. Coronavirus, Lombardy, and smog. Is there a connection between them? I heard this too. He says he's reading the headlines right now on the internet. And that's great, Antonio, but do that in a half an hour. Join us right now. Come on. These are headlines. Let's forget for 25 more minutes. Let's forget about the crazy world we actually live in and look at some crazy headlines. All right, let's just look at one more.
Lovely chum fences in grandson. Ooh, what's a chum? This is British English.
I think so because
it's really British English.
And so explain it also to me.
Yeah, okay. So your chum is your friend, okay? A really good friend.
I thought that was mate in British English.
It is also. This is another synonym. This is, yeah, like slang. Or, yeah. So if you say, oh, my chum lives over in, I don't know, Chiswick in London, which means my good friend lives over in London. So it's another British English term for good friend.
Ah. Yeah. So in American English, I have heard chum, but almost never. I think it's regional, depending on where you live in the United States. But in English, in American English, to chum is also a verb, and it means to, if you go fishing, you fill the water with little pieces of bait to
Oh, really?
attract the fish before you put your line in.
I didn't know that.
Chum means dude.
I love it.
Thank you, Antonio. That's fabulous. Okay.
It's not really accurate, but I mean, yeah, very often you call your friends dude. Like, hey, dude. So, but it's not this. It's not quite the same.
I love it. Okay.
Okay. So I
Okay.
want to the first headline was my favorite. Giant elf lifts giant. So if I were to make this complete, it would be a giant elf lifts a giant. So they have removed the two articles up and up. Okay.
Okay. Could you also say, because it's probably not something actually, could you also say a giant elf? No, if you say has lifted
Yeah. Or lifted.
or has lifted,
Yeah.
it depends on when, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. That was one of my favorites as well. So, all right. So now I want you to really look at these. There are 4. So Joelle and I will read these aloud for you. Will you take the first one?
Sure. So celebrity gossip. Ooh, I love gossip. The Duchess of Cambridge announced she was pregnant yesterday. Ooh. Be careful with the pronunciation, guys, of pregnant. So we usually pronounce G and N, gn. Okay?
Okay. The new Quentin Tarantino film has reached the top 10 at the box office.
Ooh. Have you seen the latest Quentin Tarantino film?
What is the latest?
Once Upon a Time in
Yes, in Hollywood.
In Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw. Did you like it?
Not really.
Not me. Me neither. I'm sorry. I really, really love Quentin Tarantino, but I think this time he really just
He missed the mark.
Yeah, exactly. This is my opinion. My humble opinion.
It just
Okay.
droned on. It was two and a half hours of
Boredom.
why didn't I bring a pillow?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Last scene was great. That was it, I think. Okay. Beyonce has just released a new album. Ooh, my favorite singer.
Yes. All right. And my favorite headline, my favorite gossip, there is hope for single ladies. Johnny Depp has filed for divorce. Oh, if only.
Oh, God. Yeah, but you have to get in line, Terry, after me.
Why after you? I'm closer to his age. Why should I be after you? All right. So what we want you to do, well, first, Joelle, what's the difference between a headline or a news story and gossip?
Okay. Right. So the headline is what the article is basically about, just in a few words, so you understand what the whole article will be talking about. The second one, sorry, headline, news story.
Gossip. Headlines
Yes.
and gossip.
Okay, and gossip is, it's usually something that is not entirely true, and the journalists just want to sensationalize about something that could be true, but they don't know, but they're making it sound like it's true, and it's maybe something they heard on the grapevine, and they're trying to.
Ooh, on the grapevine. I love that. On the grapevine. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to say on the grapevine in a news term, you would probably say sources say.
Yeah.
So gossip could be true. We're not saying that gossip is never true, but it's unconfirmed.
Yeah, exactly. So If you say I heard it on the grapevine, it means somebody told me, like I've heard it from somebody, but I'm not entirely sure if it's true because I heard it from somebody who heard it from somebody who, it's like the truth could be distorted at this point.
Okay, so Tiziana tried the first one, and she says Duchess of Cambridge is pregnant.
Could be.
Now,
I know we don't usually use the verb to be.
no, this is really direct, and this is as if it is a fact.
Yeah.
So I might try again, Tiziana, and use announce. Use a form of announce in your headline. Good first try, really good first try. Use announce. Try not to use the verb to be.
Yeah, you could also just remove to be. It's really direct, but you could say Duchess of Cambridge pregnant.
You could totally eliminate the verb.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Duchess of Cambridge, very often as well, when we have the full form, we also need to change the tense to make it correct for the headline. So here we have past simple, announced. She was pregnant yesterday. When you have a past tense, something that happened in the past, we make it present in the headline. So the Duchess of Duchess of Cambridge announces, because it's her, third person, announces she was pregnant.
Pregnancy.
Pregnancy, there you go, noun. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Absolutely. Tiziana, new Quentin Tarantino film at the top.
Yep, good.
Good.
For single ladies, Johnny Depp divorced.
Wait. Not divorced.
Well,
Files for divorce. Sometimes to file for divorce means to put the paperwork to ask the court to submit paperwork. Not final. If you say Johnny Depp divorced, it means it's final. And then I would be going to America.
So file for divorce means to officially ask for divorce. Yeah. And here Tiziana says, sorry, she forgot the word film.
Don't worry, absolutely great. New Quentin Tarantino film at the top. Hello, Vincenzo, how are you? All right, so...
Beyonce. Beyonce has just released a new album.
I would say Beyonce releases new album.
Yeah.
Because talking about that has just, it's something that is really recent past, so we can put it in the present form.
Or we could use the past participle. Beyonce released new album.
Okay.
Good, but maybe present is better. Beyonce releases new album.
All right. So let's look just really quickly at this present perfect form in the news. Oh, what do we have?
A new album.
Excellent. A new album for Beyonce.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Clear and direct. Really great. So, Joelle, can you help explain, because you use this present perfect with news with just. So will you take this?
Yeah, sure. So we very often use the present perfect with news because it's very, it's happened very recently, so it has a direct effect on the present. How do you form the present perfect? So we use I have or I haven't, negative form, or third person, he has, she has, he hasn't, she hasn't.
It.
Plus the past participle, or it, also it. Plus the past participle form of the verb. So, for example, seen, heard, or had. Okay, so we use the present perfect to give news. News has a relationship with the present because it has just happened in the very recent past. It has a direct effect on the present. Example, I've just seen Josie.
Okay.
So it
So
happened very
now,
recently.
what's
Mhm.
that?
So it happened very, very recently, maybe an hour ago.
Okay. So now for our last 4 or 5 minutes together, we want you to share your news.
Okay,
Will you read for us, please?
yeah, sure. So is there any gossip about you students? Examples, I've just got a new job. I've just moved into a new apartment. Now I live in the center. My sister has only just told me she's pregnant. I'm going to be an aunt. Ooh, okay.
Okay, so
Nice piece of news.
now we want you to share with us. You can tell us news about your life, or you can get creative and you can share some gossip, something you've heard.
Wow, Vincenzo, I've just finished my quarantine today. Is that just an example? Or is that true? Where are you from, Vincenzo? I don't
We're,
remember.
we're still on quarantine.
Yeah, but maybe he's already had the coronavirus. Maybe he's recovered, so he's not in quarantine anymore because you can't catch it anymore if you're immune, right?
No, I don't believe so. I think you can
Still has
re-catch
to
it.
check. Oh wow, I don't know. Maybe.
It's not
Okay.
discriminating.
He said no, it's true. I'm at home. Okay. Oh, Emma, I've just done an important exam. Okay, good. What
Good.
happened? Spell
Remember
it.
the exam in English, no E on the end. EXAM, exam.
Okay, good.
So, and
Um,
is that true? Have you really just done an important exam?
hmm.
Okay.
uh, what about you? Do you have any gossip, Mary?
Do I have any gossip? Well, I could create some if you'd like. Um,
Okay. I can give you some gossip of mine. It's not very exciting, but it is. Oh, okay. There you go. I'm a doctor with positive. Ah, you had positive contact with somebody who was
ah,
positive. But he's fine. All right. Perfect.
Vincenzo, we are so happy that you are well and that you're
And
staying home and that you're okay.
I think we should also take this opportunity just to thank all the doctors and nurses and people working in the healthcare sector at the moment. You're doing a fantastic job, and we really appreciate what you're doing for everybody. Thank you so much,
Absolutely, thank
doctors,
you.
nurses, everybody who's working to help us. Love
Ha,
you.
Tiziana, I've just had all my train tickets canceled. I am so sorry. I hope that's just an example, but okay, so Joelle, you were saying you have an example, you have something to share.
Okay, yeah, it's absolutely not interesting at all, but um, my daughter has just finished her homework for the week. Yay!
Yeah.
Has just finished.
Oh, and Antonio, that's not a bad imagination. That's a great imagination. I've just won the lottery.
Good
I
for
wish.
you.
I wish for you. I wish for all of us. All right, we only have 1 minute left. And so I just want to thank everyone for being with us. I
Yeah.
want to thank everyone for participating. It's a lot more enjoyable for us, and we can help you if you participate. So this has been an absolutely great time for me. Thank you so much. And with that, Joelle, I'm going to let you finish the broadcast.
Yeah. Okay. So just a last minute correction. I've just cooked a cake.
Hmm.
Good. Like the spelling and the form is fantastic, but the verb we use for cakes is usually baking. I just baked a cake, like Bake Off. I don't know if anybody watches Bake Off Italia. So
We think of
today,
cook on top of the stove, bake in the oven.
yeah, okay. So basically today we looked at present perfect, subject, have or has, plus plus participle. And the present perfect is often used to talk about news because it has a relationship with the present. And when we create headlines, we generally do not use the articles, the, a, or un. Often we do not use the verb to be as well, it's correct. And we often change the tense of when the news happened. So we can change it from the past to present in the headline, etc., etc. Okay? Thank you everybody for joining us and have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Terry.
Bye, Joelle.
Bye.